Hey, crypto heads, it's the Goose with the Cryptic Paranormal Show. Hope everybody's doing well. It's great to see you back this week. Denise, what's happening? How are you doing?
Fantastic. No complaints.
Yeah, good. Busy week, as per
Yeah,
usual.
always.
Yep. How's everything out there in house selling land?
Very good. Still time to sell. Don't let the cold weather steer you from selling.
right. Right. All right. Well, we're -1 Heisenberg. He's taking care of Boss Lady Kate. She's feeling under the weather tonight, so he won't be on. He might join us later, he said, but I don't think. Are we taking bets? Probably not.
No, because we're both on the same side.
Yeah, right. So so he won't be on, but we got an awesome guest down there, folks. We got BRIE. Be like BRIE Hollingshead. How are you doing tonight? There it is.
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on. I'm excited about this.
I'm glad. I mean, you've seen the show though, right? I mean, you're excited. I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah.
She watched it once.
Yeah, she watched it once.
I watched it a couple times.
Yeah, Kyle Mangus saying, "Hey, what's up? What's up,
Kyle?"
So,
Sorry.
when we have people on, first question is, what's your superhero origin story? How did you start this weird shit that we do?
Okay. So it all goes back to a divorce.
Nice.
I know everybody's like, wait, what?
Okay.
But yeah, it started with a divorce. So, I mean, I've dealt with the paranormal since I was like 6. That's when I had my first like actual like thing that I can remember, like experience. But yeah, I got divorced this year, and my older children sat me down and they were like, "Mom, it's time for you to start pursuing your passion. You raised us on paranormal." I mean, I raised them watching, the OG shows, Paranormal State, Ghost Hunters, Haunted Collector, the first couple seasons of Ghost Adventures, So, I mean, we've always dealt with paranormal as well everywhere we've lived. So, they told me to start pursuing my passion. So I went to a couple of events, Paracons, and then signed up for an event. And I was actually going to this event in North Carolina, and I had pulled over to a rest area, and I had an idea like in my head that I needed to like make it a memorable event and document it. And so I documented it all through the trip to North Carolina on Twitter. I went to the Mothman, rubbed the shiny hiney, stopped at Sweet Spring Sanitarium in honor of because Project Fear was doing their sleeping arrangements. It was their second episode on YouTube, so kind of like an homage to them. And then on the way back, I hit up St. Albans, and yeah, right. I can't there. It's over there. Did St. Albans, and then I hit up Trans Allegheny, and everybody loved it, and I had a blast doing it. And so I've been doing it straight on since June 30th. No weekends off, and now no.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm like, I've been watching you, and we had the Old Mill Parafest this past Saturday, and I know you were busy. It was like, and I knew you just like literally got back from one of your trips.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting to see you, but you still came out. I was like, holy crap, this girl just like goes and goes and goes. Like, you must have some kind of battery. I don't understand it. I don't know how to do it.
I'm like the Energizer Bunny. I just keep going and going and going. Ask Nick.
Yeah, but I guess, I mean, if it's your passion, that's what drives you, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's life, and it's something that I absolutely love doing. It's nonstop. I mean, I'm getting to pursue my passion right now, and I'm getting to highlight historically haunted locations and get their names out there to help promote them.
Yeah.
I'm getting to do investigations on top of it, and I'm trying to use my journey to encourage others to stop continue to make your bucket list, but don't let anything stop you from knocking stuff off. Don't let it be, stop making the excuses, because we're always going to have excuses,
right, for sure. Nice.
Yeah. Okay. So many words right now.
You can say a few. It's fine.
I'll get your ass when I come off. Don't worry.
But no, you were talking about investigations. You just recently did a 24-hour stay at Wildwood
Yeah, it was close to
by
24
yourself.
hours. Yeah, well, the first few hours I was there was Zach, and then Brooke got there, and we did the
Okay.
walkthrough. I did the live with Brooke,
Yeah.
giving the historically haunted information on the building. And then I did my collab with Chris Smith from Hulu's Monster Inside. And
Nice.
yeah, so that was part 2 of our collab, because we actually started October 15th. I went up to Michigan and we did like Halloween haunts. And
okay.
he took me to Eloise, which was one of the hoodies that I had on today that I took the picture in. I got it from there. And then he took me to Hush. And Hush was fun. Like, we had a bar we got to hit up like every so often. So that was that was a lot of fun. I was like, man, I can do haunts like this more often. I mean, they had some good jump scares. So we started off there, and then we did this part 2 where he was remote, and it was so hard to keep my mouth shut on it, but I did, and nobody knew what was coming. Brooke was in on it along with her husband, and I mean, of course, Nick knew, but yeah, so I was there for close to 17 hours completely alone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was awesome. So I feel like I really got to push the limits and, you know, show other females, you know, we can do this. It's not just the guys that can go out there and kick ass and take names, you know, we can go out there as females and do it ourselves too. So
yeah.
That's
Did you have any moments while you were in there that you were like, I don't know if I could do this whole 24-hour thing?
I mean, there was a couple during, like, not where I was like, shit, like, I need to get out of here, but there was a couple of like, oh shit moments for sure. Cause like when I was in the attic, like, I didn't realize, I thought I lost connection. And I mean, Nick and Sam and like Mecca, they were all like joking, and they're, I guess, like, I never got to see the comments, but evidently I had a great like oh shit face, and they were talking about making memes from it. And like the way you get into the attic, it's like there's a ladder. Like you got to go through the doctor's office, and you literally go up a ladder that's on cinder blocks. So like if something came flying at me, like if I had a spirit attack me, like I was basically screwed. Like there was no getting out of this location. Like I would break going down the hole, you know? And like at one point during that, like he just had it more of like me talking my way through the situation. It was 20 minutes up in the attic. I had trip lights all around me. I had a laser grid pointed to the eave behind me. And at one point you can hear like where it sounded like somebody took like the side of their fist and like hit the wall. And like that was scary. I was like, crap. And then I'm hearing all this movement in the doctor's office. And I'm watching a face like continuously like look up the hole at me. And I'm like, man, if something charges, like I have nowhere to run. Because like you step off these planks and you're falling through. And I didn't really want to add to like the spirit population that night. So I'm like, this is gonna stop. Like I'm so screwed, you guys. You know, like I have to sit and like face my fears right now. And so like I like authentically, you know, like I sat there and I faced it. And so I was really proud of myself. But then like I was in the basement. And I'm trying to get Tommy to interact with me. And I'm trying to figure out, like, how can I relate to an 8-year-old? How can I get on an 8-year-old's level? So I started talking about how I'm a mom. I've got a daughter that's close to the same age. And you hear, it sounds like what, and I tried to describe this for the audience because I didn't know how well they could hear it. But it literally sounded like somebody charged through the front door and like ran through the house to like the kitchen where the stairs are. And I'm like, I know I'm safe, you know, like I know that like nobody can get in. I'm locked down. I'm in, it's not like I'm at Norwich where anybody could just like mosey on in and be like, what's up? You know, what are you up to? So I knew, but it was still like, and then it dawned on me, I didn't hear the front door. but it was like, it was so much motion. Like there was so, like, I could hear people, like, it sounded like people coming down the stairs or like, you know, getting ready to walk down the stairs. And that was real unnerving because it's like,
Yeah.
I have no clue. But like when I actually watched I watched it back, and you can hear everything that I was seeing with my eyes and that I was hearing. Like some of it you could hear, and you could actually hear somebody walking around my phone, you know.
Wow.
So that was kind of like unnerving, like that.
Yeah.
You hear all of that. So, but I mean, at no point, I mean, really, I mean, I went live on TikTok later on, and there was like, I know Mecca had said he heard a loud rumble, and it sounded like somebody, like a freight train went through the house, and I couldn't tell if it was first floor or third floor. So I went first floor because just in case somebody had on, you know, perchance did get into the house, I was able to like run out of or jump through a window and like with less risk of like dying.
Yeah.
You know, like you do that from the third floor, you know, you're kind of like, you know, screwed. So I went running down to the first floor to check because that was real. I mean, there was a lot of points where it was unnerving throughout the night, you know, but it was really
it's the fact that you're alone anywhere. I mean,
right.
Sometimes when you're alone, you're already like kind of a wreck, anyways. Because you know what I mean. I was in a hotel room on Saturday. I'm like nervous, like just I couldn't go to sleep. I'm like, I'm not used to being in a space alone, like, for that long time. But you know, you're in a place like that. My God, I had done it once, and it kind of swayed me from doing it ever again. Mecca wanted to know about the human concern.
Oh, okay, so yeah, there was a human aspect to it because like the one thing that really, and like Brooke knows about this, and you know I did share this with a few people. Like I went outside to have a cigarette at one point, and it was right after I did my TikTok. I even said on my TikTok like I need a break. I need to have a because it was like very like I have a lot of giftings, and so I can feel, I can sense, I can see, I can hear. Yeah. And at one point, it just got to be like real, like I felt like I was crowded, and I was just like, I'm taking the time out. I'm gonna go have a cigarette. I'll be back. I'm gonna go back live, and I plan on going live at that point on my StreamYard. And I went outside to have a cigarette, and you know, there was somebody that walked by the house, and they had even asked for a cigarette, and I was like, you know, no, I don't have any more. But yeah, I'm not gonna have some guy walk up onto the front porch. I'm not setting myself up for a fall, you know. Not saying that he had mean intentions, but I might be blonde, but I'm not dumb.
Plus fucking cigarettes are expensive, bro. I'm like,
especially on the East Coast. The East Coast, oh my God. Okay, I can buy 2 packs of cigarettes here for like the price of 1 pack out there. I was like, I'm so glad I stocked up on vapes before I went. Like these saved me from hurting anybody. But so like I watched this guy walk down the street, and a few minutes later I had the feeling that something was coming up on my right, and so I looked to the right, and there's somebody on a bicycle. Well, I recognized the jacket. It was the same guy that just walked by me.
Oh no.
And he comes up and he brings the bike into like the side yard, and I realized at this point the guy has on a ski mask. Like all you can see are his eyes. And I'm like,
oh, fuck that, man.
Oh no.
What the fuck? Like at this point I had relit a cigarette, I flicked it, and I was in the chair right next to the front door, and I spun. Like I did some like ninja kung fu, flew through the door, slammed it shut, dead bolted, and I ended up curled up in a wingback chair. And you know, like, so the human aspect of it was more scary. Like I at that point, put me back in the damn attic. You know, let something start hanging on the walls. Let me see something crawl up the ladder at me. Like I will take that tenfold over the guy outside with the ski mask, you know. But
and you know that motherfucker did that just to get that cigarette. He's like, you know what?
Oh, I know, right? Like
you think rolled up on you right as you're like that, right as you're lighting another one, and you flick it. He's like, yes.
I went back out later, and the thing was still there, and I'm like, dude, you had your chance, but okay. I was like looking out all the windows, like, you know, and I'm all curled up in this chair. Like, that was, I mean, in all honesty, Give me dead people any day,
Yeah.
hands down,
Yep.
over
Yeah.
real people, because real people, you never know their intentions.
Yeah.
I might
Right.
get scratched.
Yeah.
I might get pushed. I might have my hair played with when it comes to, you know, a spirit. I've had all that done, you know, but yeah, I will take the abuse of a dead person hands
Yep.
down any
Mhm.
day over what I went through with a living person that night. So
Yeah.
Hey, Dennis, we love you too, man. Happy Thanksgiving. Hope you and Jennifer have a great one. Yeah, it's nerve wracking. I've been to the House of Wills, and you know when the owner actually tells you probably want to carry something on you. You know, it's like
God.
yeah, but you know it is what it is. We do it because we love it, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's all part of the job. I mean, it's
Yeah.
all part of, I mean, I've been caught in torrential downpours. I've been Letchworth. I was walking through one of the buildings after I got off my live, and I could hear, I remember I was on the phone with Nick and I was walking through, and I could hear teenagers breaking into the basement, and I was like, all right, it's time to dip. You know,
Yeah.
you know, that was one of my safety measures when I was on this 3-week trip, was I would talk to Nick consistently. You know, if he wasn't at work,
Yeah.
I was on the phone with him. He
Mhm.
would, you know, if something started feeling a little shady, or if I was somewhere and I felt like I was being followed, I'd pull the phone out and call Nick, and he always knew where I was at. He always had screenshots, knew exactly the address. I would take pictures
Yeah.
of the buildings. Hey, I'm standing right next to this. You know, this is where the car's parked. So,
Yeah.
you know, he always had a handle on everything of where I was, which was nice, you know. And I knew I had people
Yeah.
close by too, but
Yeah.
at least Nick knew all the down, you know,
Mhm.
all the information on where I
Yeah.
was. But yeah, I mean, there's different things that you go through in this field, you know, to pursue this passion and to get the job done, you know. And for me, it's
Right.
highlighting the locations, it's
Mhm.
pushing the boundaries. It's, you know, when you're an investigator, we can't just sit there and, oh, can you make the K2 light up? You know, I mean, it's, you know, there's a catwalk.
Right.
Can you make the ball light up? Can you make it roll across the floor? I mean, granted, I had a lot of that happen, you know,
Yeah.
but which was really damn cool. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I got told to get the
Yeah.
hell out of that house either when I was using the necrophonic app, you know. But
Yeah.
it's, you know, there's a lot of risks that we take in this field, and a lot of people are like, oh, all you do is play with ghosts, oh, aren't you cute? And it's like, dude, this isn't like, you know, I'm not, you know, Shaggy, this isn't Scooby-Doo, but sure, okay. Like, if only you knew the risks that come with it. But you know,
Yeah.
it's all part of the job, and I love it. I wouldn't trade it for anything in
Yeah.
the world.
Yeah. I mean, if I could make a living off of it, I'd definitely be doing it full time.
Yeah.
Doesn't pay really good health insurance though, so
Yeah, no, but the death benefits are amazing from what I understand. So
yeah. Got a wonderful historical home to haunt. Yeah, it's perfect.
oh yeah, I mean, I'm gonna come back
Scoop
and
and
get all
stack.
your asses. So you know.
I'm gonna be one of them traveling entities, huh? You're not stuck.
Oh, well, you know, I mean, it would be fitting considering what I do.
Yeah.
So
Right.
yeah, I'm in it for this. Yeah, just throw me energy drinks and coffee, and
Right.
evidently I need Nick's
Yes.
parts too. So
Beef jerky and energy drinks, and this time of year, Little Debbie's Christmas cakes. But you know,
Christmas cakes. I did try a chocolate one finally.
did you? How'd you
Mhm.
like it?
They're delicious.
Yeah, they're
It's
delicious.
dangerous.
I got a problem. I'm obsessed. That was so funny when Ken brought those boxes from him and Holly to the Parafest Saturday. He's like, "Here you go, Goose." I'm like, "What is this?" I was thinking it's probably got some kind of weird ass doll he wanted me to look at or something. It's in a
Right.
bag. I didn't notice it. There was 2 boxes of those things. I'm like, "Oh, dude, I love you so much. I'll even hug and kiss Benny if you want me to."
oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that's awesome. Yeah, the cool thing though is that with the collab with Chris, it's not done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are getting ready to
Cool.
pick up on November 27th. you're going to see us go live at a location. We will be there from 5 p.m. until 4 a.m. in the morning. So we're both going to be streaming on both of our platforms.
Okay.
I'm not going to release the location just yet, but payback for some of the stuff I had. No, I'm just kidding. I'm really excited though. I already know that trigger objects will be used on this one. I already know that we're both gonna have challenges for each other.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
And this is a decent sized location with a pretty interesting history. So I'm really pumped about this. I'm real excited to get this going. And you never know, the collab could keep going after that. So
nice.
Hope so. Sounds awesome.
Yeah. So we're kicking some ideas around of what to do right now. So it's gonna be interesting for sure.
And what platforms are you on?
I'm on all social platforms. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, well, X, but it's always gonna be Twitter.
Yeah.
Right.
It's always gonna be Twitter. I'm waiting for them to switch that back. Stop being stupid.
It's dumb. I'm sorry. I mean, everybody's like, "Oh, they're posts." I'm like, "It's a tweet. Let's be real.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah.
We really close this damn thing X." But yeah, so, like I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, TikTok. I'm finally figuring out TikTok. So kind of, I think I'm figuring out CapCut. I'm kind of proud of myself. But
CapCut's fun to like mess around with. I
found
enjoy
some
it.
good ones with CapCut today. I was like, I'm like favorite. Like I can spend hours on CapCut looking for like the perfect things because I'm really bad. Like because I go live at my locations, so I do still shots. But then it's like to go live to do still shots and then to go back and do more video. Like depending on my time, sometimes I'm out of time and I don't have a chance to go back and do videos. So a lot of my like TikToks and stuff, they're all done with pictures. Yeah. And I know some people are like, "Well, these kind of suck," and I'm like, "Well, at least you're getting something." So.
Right.
Right.
It's hard to remember to do that though.
I mean, how many pictures have I been able to post though, or videos where you're actually hearing something moving around, you know, like I've gotten, I mean, the videos I have taken, I've always gotten something, which is amazing. You know, you're constantly hearing, you're constantly seeing.
Right.
It's kind of cool when you're a beacon. I guess that's what I've been called. Oh, you're a beacon. And I'm like, yay. But it's kind of unnerving too to go back through pictures and you're like, what the hell is that? You know? Like, you know, and then people are like, oh, it's a demon. And I'm like, no. Like, we don't say the D word in this house, okay?
Glad it's right over my shoulder. Okay.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, I think I know what demon it is. And then they'll start sending you pictures and you're just like, oh my God.
Jesus.
Like, like I'm already unnerved as it is, but I'm not going to sleep now, you know?
Right. And then they tell you not to say a demon's name or like, you know, don't say names. And then you're like reading the information and you're like, shit, I just said it in my head. Does that count?
Yes. Like I'll do that and I'll be like, oh my God. Like, is it like verbally, like when you say it? Or is
I have to say it out loud
like,
or?
Yeah. Like, I mean, is it like Beetlejuice?
Right.
Like, how are we doing?
Right. Is it like just enough that it's on my screen and they can see that?
Like, should I just be like this? Like, okay, scroll.
So I listen to the band Ghost and they have that one song, I think it's Year Zero. Where like at the beginning, like there's like a choral part where they're singing like each name of like all the head demons.
Oh God.
Like,
like Asmodeus and then Beelzebub, Lucifer. And it's like, but like that's like their whole gig. I mean, they have like this whole mythos about them. Like, you know, they're like a satanic Catholic sect and stuff like that. But it's all done in fun. It's part of their story, right? But I was singing it out loud and my wife was in the car. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Right?
She's like, "Why are you singing? Why are you listening to this?" I'm like, "What? It's just a song."
There's a reason it's not on the karaoke list.
You know, a couple miles down the road, I look over and I go, she's just to scare the shit out of her. But
no. That's not
I could say so many. Okay. Like between you and Mecca, I'm about ready to slide off my chair right now. So No, that's the only D word I don't like, Mecca. Okay.
Oh my god. Love it.
You never know what I'm gonna say. I kid you not. I have no.
I told you, don't let the filter stop you.
I mean,
Say whatever the hell you want.
I'm still PG. I didn't say what D word I do like. So.
D's nuts.
I don't know if that counts as a D word, but
So many things I could say even right now. Like, stop setting me up. Be good.
That's funny.
Be good.
So did you say earlier, you said you've been living with the paranormal all your life? Is there like, can you give us like an example of what like one of your first experiences are?
Okay,
were,
yeah.
I should say.
Yeah, so my no, you're not in trouble. Sorry, I can see the chat. So my very first experience, I was 6 years old, and no, you're not in trouble. You're not. You're so not in trouble. You guys missed what he had put on the screen for my name. So I was like getting ready to hit enter studio, and like I noticed, and I was like, oh my god, it was great. But so yeah, so I was 6 years old, and oh, Susan, hi, sweetheart. I got to meet Susan in New Jersey. That was amazing.
Oh, awesome.
Yes, I got to meet her. That was so fun. So I was 6 years old, and I'd woken up. I had twin beds, and they were like side by side. One of them was like covered with like every stuffed animal known to mankind, because little girls need stuffed animals. And so
not just little girls, 16-year-olds too.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can never have enough, right? I mean, they're like Pringles. Once you pop, you can't stop.
Yeah.
So I rolled over, and I see what appears to be my mom, and she's got her back to me, and I'm like, really confused, because my mom's never like she always sit on the bed next to me, and I'm like, why is my mom over there? I'm getting ready to ask her why she's sitting there, and she goes to turn her head, and the light from the bathroom reflects through her face. I can see the 1960s, 70s, like, solid oak wood dresser with like that funky, mirror with the shelving on it.
Yeah.
I can see it through her face, and I'm just like, all right. So like I just rolled right back over.
Yeah, right.
Linked it up, like it's time to go back to bed.
That was your earliest nope.
Yeah, that was my earliest. Yeah, I'm not in the mood for that right now.
Yeah,
sorry.
nope.
Yeah, no. So I woke up the next morning, and I went downstairs, and I'm like, Mom, explain the whole situation. And so she digs the picture out, and it was my great grandmother. But like it looked like my mom. So my mom wears a flannel nightgown, where she wore a flannel nightgown. She always had her hair up in an eight, but I mean, it looked like my mom from the back. But when she showed me the picture, it was my great grandmother's. And now the weird thing is, she never had any association with the house. The last I saw her, I was 1.5 at her funeral. I actually walked into one of the pillars that had her flower arrangement, and about crushed myself with that.
Oh no.
Yeah. But survived. So yeah, the interesting, experience, especially, not having a connection to her, like why she would have appeared. My great grandpa was known for his cherry tobacco, and to this day I can still smell it, and I have no recollection of my great grandpa, but I smell that, and I know he's with me, just like my mom. She's been past 18 years, and she's the one that passed on, the love of history and the love of hauntings. She, we grew up, the whole house. I mean, there was all kinds of activity in that house. If certain people came over, the poltergeist activity spiked. I remember being 16, and we went to Gettysburg, and those Ghost of Gettysburg books that they sell. It was one of the earliest editions, and I had read it, and there was a story in there of this lady who had talked about, as a joke, she said, I'm getting ready to go home to Washington. If anybody wants to come home with me, jump in the car. And she suffered a whole year of poltergeist activity because she brought something home with her.
That's like rule number one.
Like you get what you ask for.
Right. And so what do you think smart ass BRIE does at 16? So I just read it, and I'm like, and I'm trying to get to my mom, right? Because my mom had did something that really pissed me off, and I can't remember what it was. And so I'm trying to think like what's a good way to get to my mom, and I remembered this story. Now the woman said she had to have her friend in Gettysburg come back to visit her, and when she left, she was like, "Hey, I'm going back. Do you want to come back to Gettysburg?" And then the activity stopped. So I'm like, "Hey, mom, I just read this story," and I turn around. We're right next to the actual like cemetery, and I'm like, "Hey, we're gonna be going back home to Ohio. If anybody wants to come with us, feel free to jump in the car." I thought my mom was going to skin me alive right there. Sure as shit, I brought home something. Like, my dad had brought a book about the Vietnam War. It was a hardback and had a paper cover on it. He sat it on my mom's lazy boy, and the next morning that cover was ripped to shreds. Like, my
Holy
mom
shit.
said that for the full year until we could go back to Gettysburg, she would watch an orange and green light go through her room, like just constantly pacing. And it was like our ghost. And I think I brought home a Confederate because our home was used on the Underground Railroad. So I knew the type of like we had slave spirits, we had other pioneer spirits that inhabited our home. And it would be like a knockdown, drag out fight at times. Like, and I'm like, somebody's getting their ass whooped. Just don't hit me, okay?
Yeah.
Right, no shit.
I mean, it would be all out war in our house at times. But yeah, my mom, when we were getting ready to go back to Gettysburg, she's like, you need to make sure you invite your friend to come back. And I was like, fine. Okay. You know, I'm 17 and it was my graduation gift. I'm like, hey guys, my mom's evidently really pissed. Probably gonna invite you back with me. If you want to go back to Gettysburg, come on, let's go. And sure enough, that the activity went back to normal. I mean, I can't say activity stopped, but activity went back to normal. So
yeah.
Don't worry. I won't do that anymore, Nick. I promise. I'm having a hard enough time trying to get Hinsdale to leave me alone still. And that's been what? Almost a month. Yeah. I'm still dreaming about Hinsdale. I'm still getting visions of Hinsdale.
It's been 4 years for me, so good luck.
Yeah, Hinsdale will not stop. And Hinsdale's the first, I'll be honest, like the first place to make me absolutely almost piss myself would be Hinsdale. I mean, I won't lie. Hinsdale was the worst. And yet I know I'm going to be going back, you know, and I know I'll probably keep going back because I'm a glutton for punishment. And why not? You know, like that's what we do in our field because, you know, ghosts. You know?
It was such a wild experience for me. And, you know, it was really just messed up, like nothing I had ever experienced before. But I swear to you, I think about going back to Hinsdale at least 2 or 3 times a week. Like it's on my brain.
Wow, that's a long time. Like I still struggle with sleep. Like my sleep has never been the same since Hinsdale. A lot of people are like, "Oh, you don't sleep a lot," and I'm like, "You have no clue how much I don't." Like I didn't sleep well before. I sure as hell don't sleep well now. When I was actually at Wildwood and I was using the Necrophonic app in the doll room, a voice came through. And now I did 3 different Estes sessions when I was at Hinsdale, and Mecca actually wrote everything down and out. And if you follow the line of from all 3 with what they talk about, they actually talk about sexual assault. And they brought Nick up, and at one point it talks about holding Nick back, and so it's like it created a dual haunting for both of us in a weird way. And so sleep is very hard for me. And yeah, I and it's not just from that, it's from the spirit interaction of the second night, because I actually slept in Mary's room both nights. I figured if I'm gonna do it, if I'm gonna do Hinsdale, I'm gonna do Hinsdale right, and I'm gonna push what's my limit, you know, what's really gonna push the envelope. Sleep in Mary's room. You know, like how many people can actually say they slept in. Oh, I said it right. Yay. Yeah. Nick's about ready to go kick down the door, I think, on Hinsdale. So yeah, because it got kind of graphic. Like I even got on the third session, my left boob got grabbed. Like it started to burn. And I remember I'm doing the session and I'm just like, ow. And I'm like, your instinct is to touch where it hurts.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, but how do I touch my boob? Because I know Jeff Fint has my camera on me. I'm live.
Yeah.
Like, let me just rope myself on.
Right.
You know, like,
I don't think of as an investigator myself watching you grab your boob. The sexual aspect of that would probably be very low on the priority list. Like I'd be like worried about you and like wondering what the hell you're going through. Right now.
Like it hurt. Like it hurt for a while. Like I actually thought like it felt like I've felt burning sensations in places. I've been in Edinburgh Manor where you know, I watched a scratch form on my hand and that burned like a bitch. And that was the first time I'd ever been scratched and I've ever felt anything like that. And like I said, I've been dealing with this stuff since as far as I can remember 6. That's the earliest memory I have.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been pushed, I've been pulled, I've been thrown down the stairs when I was growing up at our house. But I've never had felt that burning sensation. And when I was doing that session and I felt it at first on my wrist. And it literally felt like something had just dug in. And I have bracelets that I wear on both sides. And I felt it underneath the bracelets. And I was just like, I remember thinking like, and I said, ow, and I grabbed my wrist. But I'm thinking in my head, like, why am I feeling this under my bracelets? Like that didn't make any sense to me. And then like it literally, I mean, it felt like, I mean, stabbed. I mean, it burned really bad. Like somebody just poured like acid right on my chest. So the extent of what was said during the session, and then it actually called out my full first name, which I don't use on any location. I don't give to anybody. You know, if you happen to know it, that's great, you know. But I and I will say it's not Brianna, it's not Brianne, but it's not Brielle. But it's my way of validating. If I hear my full first name come through, that's kind of like my password. Like I know that you're getting me on an intimate level. And sure enough, my full first name came through, and that I tapped out. I was like, I'm done. Like you're, you know. And then I talked to Mecca about it later, and Mecca actually took the time to go through, and he wrote everything down. And sure enough, it describes sexual assault, and you know, Nick being held back, and. You know, it was rough. It was really rough. And then the second night I was there, the experience that I had was extremely, like, I've never been petrified by fear before. And I remember laying in the bed and like the investigator in me, is it BRIE baby? That's actually, I think, one of the things that came through on the Estes session was BRIE baby. They started calling me BRIE baby. But
creepy.
Yeah, right. And then like I think they called me like sexy mama, and they were like, "Oh, she's crazy, but she's fun. I like her. Yeah, I like her too." Like it was like two spirits conversing back and forth. It was really creepy. But yeah, so like the investigator in me is like, "Pull your damn phone out. Are you dumb?" But I'm like really scared to the point where I couldn't move, you know. And that like that has actually like, but that nickname though. So yeah, Nick, be nice. Please be nice. He knows. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, Hinsdale was.
Yeah, it was really interesting. Like with Hinsdale, like I'll go ahead and tell the story. So it was right around like 3 a.m. Everybody had gone to bed. A lot of people were flustered and frustrated over the Estes session because it, like Jeff Fint had made the comment that Hinsdale creates your own haunting, and it literally pegged each person and went after them in a different fashion. And there was one person that didn't even get anything. He got nothing but radio silence and static for like 10 minutes. And he was like, I'm not getting anything, guys, which was really weird. But the girl before me, like, they actually mimicked a guy's voice of somebody that she knew that had passed away. And like, it got to her, like, she had just bought her SB7, and that damn thing in the headphones went flying. I've never seen somebody throw equipment so fast off of them before. I was like, this is not good. You know, Jeff even tapped out. He was like, nope, I'm not going to voice what they're telling me. And we asked, well, just out of curiosity, what, you don't have to say what they're saying, but what's the lines of it. And it was basically like mutilation and how they were going to attack us. And he was like, I'm not putting voice to it. The one guy, he actually, you know, he started hearing sirens and buzzing and like was talking nonsense. And he was getting real agitated. Like you could tell like something was really affecting him. And now from what I understand, he also slept in Mikey's room. And from what I understand, people that sleep in Mikey's room, they become really agitated and can be volatile towards the end of their time. And mind you, we were there for 3 days and 2 nights. So by the end of Saturday night, he was getting really just, you didn't really want to deal with him, in all honesty. It was very uncomfortable. So everybody tapped out. I'm laying in bed, and I remember like talking to Nick, and we're saying goodnight, and I start hearing knocking in the closet. And I'm in Mary's room. There's a couple sleeping. I mean, they're out cold. They're snoring in the big bed. And I can hear this knocking. And it's not just like light knocking. It's like loud banging. And how these two are sleeping through it, I have no clue. I mean, they're just, I mean, they're out.
That would be me. That would be
I
me.
want to sleep like that. Like, and, you know, and I'm telling you, I'm like, damn it. And Nick's like, you know what? And I'm like, the activity is starting. And I notice it's 3 o'clock. And I'm like, well, for all I know, it started like this at 3 o'clock the night before. I don't know. We didn't get to bed till after 4, you know, the night before. So I might have missed the knocking last night. Who knows? And so the knocking stops. And then not even a couple minutes later, there's knocking again. But this time it's on the outside of the bedroom windows in the big bedroom.
Oh, that's weird.
Now, if you have not been to Hinsdale, you have to understand there is no way to get to these damn windows. You would have to have a ladder.
Yeah.
You can't, there's no trellis. You can't get to them from the roof. You would have to have a ladder. So now I'm like, okay, either I've got a crazy ass human out there or we're getting cryptid activity. So I don't know if I should be excited or freaked out, but regardless, I'm freaked out right now, you know?
Because I mean, Hinsdale has the whole gamut. I mean,
oh my God,
seen UFOs,
yeah,
Bigfoot, Puckwudgies. I mean, it's got everything.
Yeah, Jeff's got the picture of the Puckwudgie in the tree, the giving tree.
Right.
And like the first night, I was outside having a cigarette, and one of the guys was out there with me, and I'm facing the pond. Now, for people who've never been there, you've got the house. The giving tree is right up the hill, directly behind it. And then, like, if you're facing the house, it would be to the left is a pond. And then to the right of the house is a big field. So I'm facing the pond, and I hear what sounds like a mix between an owl and a howl. It's not a dog, and it's definitely not an owl. That sucker goes from the giving tree to the pond, the front of the house to the field behind me in under 30 seconds. And I'm like,
wow.
I start backing up towards the house. The other guy's like, where are you going? I thought you don't run. I said, I don't run from the dead. I don't know what the hell that thing, like that. If that's a skinwalker, you don't survive those things. Like, have you ever met anybody that survived a skinwalker? I mean, let's be real. Like, no, I ain't playing with that. That's not it. That's not on my credentials. Okay.
We heard
this house is my credentials, not that. Yeah.
We heard a very, very similar sound, and it was accompanied by rushing through the woods. We were sitting at the fire pit, and we heard it, and then it sounded like something huge was coming down the hill. Like you could hear the brush and everything, and we were like, where on earth do you run into the super haunted house to get away from the scary stuff?
I've done it twice.
Hinsdale is just something
You
else.
do it at
Yeah, I've only been
Hinsdale,
there
baby.
once, and I've been there once, and it was really quiet. Like we
Yeah.
had
You had too many people though.
Well, Hinsdale
Yeah,
is
we had,
hit or
like, 10
miss.
people, yeah.
Hinsdale seems to be, from everything that I've heard from other people, Hinsdale is
Yeah.
completely hit or miss. We got Nate
Oh,
in the
yeah.
house. Hey, Nate.
What up?
So, like, yeah, Hinsdale was just nuts. But, like, real quick, so, like, the knocking on the window stops. Knocking on the wall where the closet is, it starts next to the window, goes all the way down that wall. Hits the wall where the stairs are, and it wraps over to that wall. Hits the door frame for the stairs, and it stops. And I'm like, at this point, I'm
Wow.
frozen. My investigators like, get your damn phone out, start recording, and I'm like, now the flies are going ape shit in Mary's room to the point where they're like dive bombing like they're bouncing, they're like attacking. And for people who haven't been there, the flies at Hinsdale, they're not like your teeny tiny. Like these things are like the size of fucking pebbles. They're like baby grapes, and they hurt. They will like fling all their weight at you, like like I mean, they're like Japanese dive bombers. Like they don't care. They're kamikazes. All right, it's insane. So I pull the blanket up. So I got the blanket around my face. Like I can see. I'm on my left side. I can see the table with the dolls. All of a sudden, I start hearing walking up the stairs. And I'm listening to the sound of the footsteps. I'm like, okay, this is not the two women downstairs. This is way too heavy. It's too light to be the one dude. So this is either Jeff or the other guy, Jeremy. It gets to the top of the stairs. The footsteps stop. And I'm like, there's wood floor. Why am I not hearing walking? Like, so now I'm like, please be a human. Please be a human.
Right.
But I'm like frozen. I got my blanket. I'm looking at my dolls, and we got the lamp on the desk on a soft glow. All of a sudden, the dolls turn black. I'm not saying like they got shadowed. I mean black. Like the dolls disappeared. The table was gone. I'm looking at black, a black mass. So then there's like this much room between the table and the bed. That disappears. It goes black, and I'm going like bad. This is bad. And I can feel something's next to me. So not only can I feel that something's next to me, I can tell that they've bent down, like something is face level with me at this point. And it is like from the bowels of hell, I hear a like an exhale, but it's male and it's long and it's deep. It's not a growl. It's a verge of a growl. And I mean, and it is like, it was kind of like in Ghostbusters, like when they're like, you know, like it, like Slimer without slime. All right. So like, I'm just like, I got to move this blanket. Okay. I move and I'm just thinking, please be Jeff, please be Jeff, please be Jeff. Let this be a bad prank, right? That we will laugh about for the next 10 years. Let it be a prank. I pull the blanket back. There's nothing. I fly out of that bed so damn fast. And I go to the big room. Now, I don't scream. I'm very proud of myself. I don't scream, but I'm like shaking. Like, I think about it now and I'll start shaking. Like, the hairs on my arms start, like, I'm to the point now where I don't cry anymore. I used to cry. And so at this point, now the couple that was sleeping, they're like, oh, what's going on? Okay, so see what had happened was.
Right.
So now I got to tell them everything that just happened. So I'm telling them everything. I turn around and they describe my shaking as hypothermic level shaking. Like I can't even replicate the tremors I had. And evidently, I knew my eyes had welled up. Evidently, I got tears pouring down my face. Like I don't recall crying. And as soon as I get done telling them something, I start hearing noise, but you can't tell if it's from Laura's room or the kitchen. But where I'm standing, I can see directly down into the kitchen. I can see directly into exactly. I flew. I didn't run. And so I can see right into Laura's room. And of course, I can see into Mary's room where there's still a black mass next to the side of my bed. So I'm like, okay. And so the girl in the bed, she's like, oh, well, you know, maybe somebody's coming to check on us. And I'm like, Hinsdale has a nightlight in the kitchen, you guys. I'm looking down the stairs and I'm like, I look at her and I'm looking down and I'm like, there's nobody in the damn kitchen. Like there's nobody. And at this point, you hear something crawl up the wall in Laura's room. Like crawl, like it is dragging itself. and then it drags itself across the wall to the door frame. So I'm standing there and I'm like, I'm the first line of defense in front of this couple, and I'm like, I'm fucked.
And so are they.
Yeah, well, I'm first line of defense. Hopefully there's enough fluff on this body to satisfy, okay? So I'm just like, oh my God. Nothing shows up. But I wait like 10 minutes and the black mass finally disappears next to the side of Mary's bed. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to bed. And I crawled right back into that damn bed and I slept for 3 hours. And so anybody who says you can't do it, I'm living proof. By God, I conquered Mary's room and whatever in the hell is in that house.
Yeah.
Granted, I'm still living with the night terrors and the dreams. Like, I will have vivid dreams, weird dreams, and I'm not one to remember my dreams. And like, I will the only thing I remember is the Hinsdale part. It's insane. And what's weird now is that Nick has now been brought into those Hinsdale dreams too. So
yeah,
I'm just hoping it doesn't get to that point where what was spoken, I start living out in my dreams. Because if that happens, I'm gonna be really damn pissed off. So like, I don't want to see that, you know.
I love how Brie puts the word shit and simultaneously drops F-bombs left and right. Fucking right, bud.
I'm gonna cuss to it right. Make the words count.
Right.
Right?
Look at my dog. I swear to God, he does this on purpose.
I know. He's like, that's the perfect spot. So everybody
This
can
is
see him.
my work desk. Okay. I sit here for hours and hours and hours a day. He never ever sits in that spot. Ever. But as soon as the show starts, he's like, oh, it's my time to shine. My fans need me.
Yeah. Roscoe.
Ridiculous.
That's awesome. Love it.
I'd say he's a lovely dog, but he's afraid of me. So
he is. Yeah.
Aww.
He's a big baby.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's cute stuff.
Yeah, Izzy walked in here a few minutes ago and then she turned around and walked out. She was like, all right.
I know.
Well, okay.
What was she looking at?
She came in to check on me. She's my doggy.
Yeah, but she was not looking at you. She was looking like behind you and she was looking up really high.
I know.
I was going to say something, but
we're going to ignore that.
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't say that. I think I have, because like I started to say this at Wildwood when I was doing the Estes there. One of the voices that came through was the same voices that I heard in my Estes session or on the Necrophonic app, was the exact same voice from Hinsdale.
Wow.
And that's the only other time I've heard that voice. So I don't know if I've got something that's not attached, but maybe following.
Right.
Me.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But it's just, I find that quite interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of haunted objects in here too. So you can feel it. You can feel it.
Yeah, it was weird too because I feel like Hinsdale just does whatever the fuck it wants. Like, you know, other locations you have to go there to speak to those spirits. Like Hinsdale, it's everywhere.
Oh yeah.
We hadn't even been there. What we did is we did Wildwood on Friday and then Hinsdale on Saturday. And in the time in between, you know, because they're only 20 minutes apart. So in the time in between, we went to Paranormal Oddities, the shop in like Buffalo or something. But we drove up there and my friend Shelly is psychic. She won't admit it, but she was picking up on things. And Joe, the owner of the shop, is like, no, that's not for here. It was fucking Hinsdale. We hadn't even been there yet.
Oh,
and she was picking up like, I think the shop's like an hour away. Yeah. She's an hour away. They just know she's coming. And so it was like, you know, they were going over the history with us and it was exactly what she had seen. I'm like, this place, we didn't even get here yet. And it's already super intense.
To you. Wow.
Yeah.
it's weird how it does that, because like they had the geo box going in Mary's room the first night, and I had gone outside and it was when I was outside and I heard the noise outside. And I had left my camera running live, so I actually watched the playback with Nick a few days ago, and they kept telling me, yeah, it kept saying your name, and like you listen, like when we listen to it on the geo box, all you keep hearing is BRIE, and then when I walk back into the house, they go BRIE's in the house.
Oh,
BRIE's
geez.
back inside. Like
Oh, wow.
start announcing where I'm at, and it's like it's so weird how Hinsdale will pinpoint certain people.
Yep.
Because even Billy, who was talking to us and giving us the history, she was telling us like how previous people have come and like they had dreams, spot on dreams, or they were at a shop. So I wonder if she was talking about your friend Shelly, and you know, they saw stuff. And then like she was even talking about how people, once they were here, equipment, it was like they would just zero in on one person in the group of 6.
Yeah.
And they would just, for whatever reason, it was that one person, and it's not so much that they picked on them, but it was that person that they would speak to the whole time, that and they would refuse to really talk to anybody but that person.
Yeah.
And so like I'm interested if when I go back, like, is that gonna happen? Is they gonna call my name? Are they gonna try to make me run out of the house this next time? You know, will I be able to bury my demons, so to speak, when I go back? You know, I'm interested to see what happens. So,
or will it be quiet? You never know.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a one for you though. I don't know why. I don't think that's a possibility.
Yeah,
I don't talk about it a lot. Hinsdale was very crazy. We were doing the Estes method, and people were taking turns, and Shelly was listening. I was asking questions. We were having a great session. It was like instant answers. Every single thing I asked was getting answered perfectly. There was nothing, literally nothing, that didn't make sense. You know how people always say random things that don't make sense.
Right.
So somebody else had never done it before. So they're like, I want to try it. So they put on the headphones, and the conversation had gotten into, you know, inappropriate actions towards women. I don't want to get cut out. And I'm asking the questions, and Shelly had stood in the door because she had heard and saw something coming up the stairs, and she knew that it was after me. And so she was like protecting me. She stands in the doorway, and I still to this day don't know what happened, but I was asking terrible questions. I literally looked at the girl who had the headphones on, and I was like, which one was your favorite? Tell me about her. And I was like, Shelly looks at me and she's like, are you good? I'm like, I'm fine. And she was like,
wow.
You're done. She's like, you're done. You're going outside. I'm like, I'm fine. Just let me ask questions.
Whoa.
I don't know what happened, but it was definitely not a normal question that I would ask, or a normal series of questions.
That kind of validates like the Estes session that I went through, though, because like at one point, like it starts talking about an orgy, and then it calls a girl out by name, starts talking about her innards, then it goes back into sexual content, and then it calls out somebody else's name, and then it goes back into hardcore sexual content. Like it was real. And like, but when you look at the history of the home, if it's all correct, right? Yeah, see, it completely lines up with my sessions. And so like, but when you look at, and this is why I think it's important for us to understand the history of a location that we're going into. I think this is where history ties in huge, because when you look at the legend of the brothers that had the stagecoach and that murdered people, okay, well, you would have husbands and wives go through. Do you think that they killed the husband first and then molested the wife? I mean, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to bet that's exactly what happened. I hate to say it, but, you know, that's most likely what happened. George Washington sent a battalion of soldiers during the Revolutionary War to wipe out the Indians that were living in the area because of the conflict that they were causing for the soldiers. What do you think most likely happened to the? They didn't just kill the men; they killed the
Right.
women and children. But what do you think happened to the women before they were murdered?
Mhm.
You
Right.
know, I mean, you've really got to like look at the history and understand the context when it comes to you getting crappy stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
But when it starts turning personal, it gets scary, you know, when it
Mhm.
starts calling out your significant other, when,
Mhm.
you know, it starts calling out you and describing what it's going to happen to you. That's when it starts getting like, okay, now you're, you know, like, are you trying to relive what you did? You know, like it gets scary, you know,
Yeah.
and it's weird how the spirits can influence us like they did with you to
Right.
control a conversation, you know, and we
Mhm.
think that, oh, we're okay, when in reality we're
Yeah.
not.
I probably wasn't okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
and
No.
it's just it's interesting. I think Hinsdale has a life of its own. I think there's so
Mhm.
much. I mean, there's something there for everybody, but I think the contents of everything that goes on there is when you it's a hodgepodge of everything that you could ever want or hope for. And I can see why Daniel's turned it into a research facility. You
Mhm.
know, you're going to get everything you could ever want in the paranormal in one spot. I mean,
Right.
doesn't mean
Yeah.
you're going to like everything. And I think that it also depends. You know, you hear so many people say, "Well, I didn't get a lot," but I think if you've got too many people in that location, you're not going to get a
Yeah.
lot.
Mhm.
I think they
Yeah. We had
prefer,
like 10 people, so it was way
yeah,
too crowded. Yeah.
yeah, way too many. I think I the feeling I got was that they like the more intimate setting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They like to be intimate. And, you know, I don't just say that like in a sexual content, but I
Right.
think that they want to interact. And, but when there's too much going on, like even in my first session when I was upstairs on Friday night, they, the one guy was asking questions and they started giving snide remarks back. And then they got frustrated and they were like, get out.
Mhm.
You know, and it wasn't
Huh.
like get the hell out of the room, get out of this
Mhm.
house.
Yeah.
Like it
Right.
did not, even when I watched it back, it didn't feel like they were like get out. Like it felt like they were telling the people in the room with the negative to get out, you know, like
Yeah.
um and so like I put that theory to a test and I went up there and did a second session on Saturday night upstairs and I sat in the portal where I had been sitting the first time and they barely had to ask questions. It was just, it was bam, bam, bam. Like all these names came through, women,
Mhm.
men, and then it started getting sexual again. But it was
Mhm.
just the information that it's when you change the energy, and I think it goes to show how important the energy that we bring into a situation is. I think that that was
Right.
the perfect example for how you walk into a situation.
So
So,
the thing that really gets me about Hinsdale is I've seen, obviously, firsthand, um, people's personalities completely change, you know,
yeah,
and
Yeah.
that's with us being there for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, whatever.
yeah.
Um, Now imagine you are those brothers and you're living there. Do you think that they did what they did because the house changed them? Or do you
Ooh.
think that what they did makes the house change other people?
And see that they're the ones that supposedly built the house, but
Mhm.
they would have built the house there. I got a cat yelling at me. Sorry. They would have built the house there after the Indians were massacred
Mhm.
by the soldiers. So
Right.
that you've already got all the perversion of that, right? That
Mhm.
happened on
Mhm.
that land. That land is already blood soaked. It's already trauma soaked. And for those who have not been to Hinsdale, where the pond is, there used to be a barn where they would put your horses and um for the night and tend to them. Now the brothers would sell your horse to make money off of it after they killed you. But when it was too cold outside and they couldn't bury you somewhere, they would stack the bodies up and let them freeze. And so what's interesting is that what Daniel's done with the preservation of Hinsdale is, I don't know if you've known this, that he's gone out there now with LiDAR, and he's actually found burial plots on the ground. And so his intention is to like fence those off and like pay honor to those spirits. So I think that's really cool that he wants to do that. But so, I mean, you've got that blood soaked ground, you know, from the Indians. You got now the blood soaked ground from what the brothers have done to the victims. And I think that it all plays together. I mean, because if they already had ill will intentions and you've got pissed off spirits and the residual of the horrific activities that happen on that land, those could have easily have played with and made those people worse if they were already bad to begin with. Right. You know, so I think that there's so many scenarios and that are worth looking at and investigating still to try to better understand what makes Hinsdale, you know, what makes it so creepy and amazing. And even though you go through hell, you got to go back, you know, because you know, going through hell once isn't enough.
Yeah,
you know,
got to figure out why I went through hell. Yeah.
I mean, it's all part of the job, right? That's what we all signed up for,
right?
You know, we're gonna have those where you're taking over and you're asking the inappropriate, and you're saying you're fine, but you're not, or you're getting the ever living shit scared out of you, or you're getting your life, you know. In essence, you know, like I was threatened, you know. I mean, Nick was threatened.
Oh yeah.
You know, and the way that they went after Nick, I thought that was really interesting because he's never been there before. And they were calling him out left and right.
That's what I'm saying. They do whatever they want.
Like they went right.
They don't follow the rules.
No,
Hinsdale does not follow any rules. Not a single one.
No, they don't. I mean, Hinsdale completely creates your haunting. I fully agree with Jeff on that 110%. That Hinsdale creates your haunting. You can't change my mind on that. There's no way. I think that it's a place that is definitely worth the preservation that Daniel's doing for it, for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
it's very cool. But
it's intense. I got to get back there with a smaller group of people. Maybe just the three of us, like, or you, Heisenberg, and I would need to do a live from there. It's hard to do a live from there unless, I mean, I couldn't get connected to any
Wi-Fi, but
Wi-Fi
still,
last time I was there.
I don't want to do that. I'm sorry.
No, that makes sense. I mean, if
I don't want to focus on anybody else. I just want to go and, you know what I mean? Have a small group. I don't want to be worried about people watching the live. I don't want to be worried about filming. I don't want to be worried about anything. Like, I just want to do a very serious investigation there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Did you have a lot of people driving up though while you were there?
Yes. Did you?
Isn't it horrible?
It was like people kept like having to like spend like we would be outside even at night. People at night.
Yeah.
Like 12 o'clock at night, we're pulling buoys, and I'm like, what are y'all doing?
Yeah.
Like, it was.
Yeah, one of the guys on our team, Trent, he had one of those like really super bright, high end like military flashlights. They could like bounce off the clouds and the sky.
Yeah.
So every time somebody would pull in, you'd hear like talking and like trying to be sneaky. He'd flash that thing right on them through the window. You just hear them tear out of there and fly down the road. It was hilarious.
That's awesome. Fun.
I mean, we had some experiences, but I definitely think we had too many people. Just it's too much, and my investigation group, they tend to all like to hang out with the big group and not like break off. I'm like, come on guys, let's spread out. Got
right.
But I don't know. I got to get
easily
back there.
Put people outside and have them investigate out there. You know.
Yeah, investigate out there. Go sit by the fire. I mean, there's other things to do.
Yeah.
I think Hinsdale is definitely there's more than enough there, but you definitely got to watch your crowd. You got to watch
Yeah.
how many are
Yep.
with you, and
Yeah.
you got to watch the intentions of those with you too. Because like when
Right.
I went, I was invited to go, and so it was a whole new perspective, not knowing these people, not knowing
Right.
their investigative techniques, and it was definitely a lesson learned on my part of being
Mhm.
more careful with vetting who I go
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
work with, you know. So
Right.
And you definitely have to watch, make sure it's people that you know pretty well, so you can tell when they need to walk away.
Yeah.
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 Oh
Yeah.
yeah. There was I mean, the girls from Canada, they held their own. They did really good. I was really impressed with them. Would love to work with them again. The one guy, Jeremy, he did really good. Like he was very open to whatever could happen. But ironically, he was also the one that during the session in the living room, he got nothing but static, during
Yeah.
Estes. And so that was interesting to see how they were messing, like it showed. I
Yeah.
felt like with him getting nothing but static, it proved that they were just messing with us, and
Right.
trying to see
Yeah.
who they could get to. And they couldn't even though he was open, they couldn't really do anything really with him. So
Right.
it's definitely interesting when you go to different locations too, and you see the different interactions of the spirits and how they present themselves. And like Hinsdale is on a plane all of its own compared to all
Yeah.
the locations I've been to.
Yeah.
I mean, I went mid-O in September. I dealt with an aggressive spirit there during a live where they were playing with my hair. They were trying to pin me in a room.
Wow.
Even called me out. I get called out everywhere I go, though. I'm not really surprised by it anymore. I'm kind of like more surprised, like, oh, damn, you didn't say my name this time? What the hell? Like, what? Did I not wear the right shirt? Son of a bitch, Like, sorry.
I volunteer at Madison Seminary, and I didn't ever think about getting into like the paranormal, like this aspect of it. But when you work there, obviously you can't ignore it. So
yeah,
I kind of got into it, and for years I had only investigated at Madison. And so I was used to like this level of activity, and I would go other places and it was like, meh, you know what I mean? Like, it's all right,
Yeah.
and then I went to Hinsdale and I was like, okay, all right, like this is what I'm used to, That was
like, all right,
was the first
you're on my
time.
playing field.
Yeah. Yeah, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about it since.
Madison is interesting. I love Madison.
Yeah.
I absolutely love Madison, and I was pleasantly surprised with how Madison went. We got Bump in the house. Hey,
What up, Bump?
Yeah, Nick and I are gonna go this weekend with Bump for a Friendsgiving. We're doing a collab with them out
Nice.
at
At the Bel Air house, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
we're gonna be at Bel Air for 3 days, 2 nights, and then Nick and I get to turn around. We're going from Bel Air, doing our collab with them, and we're going to Ohio State Reformatory on Sunday night for another investigation.
Nice.
And we're gonna be there. I'll go ahead and start name dropping some people. So I'm probably gonna get some names wrong, but we're gonna have Dale from the Paranormal Voice. Dale Quigley's gonna be there.
Yeah.
Let's see, Vince, the urban investigator, is going to be
Nice.
there. We're gonna have Lauren is gonna be there. I can't ever pronounce her last name.
Helkerson or something like that?
Yeah, she's gonna be
Yeah.
there. We've got some other people dropping in from Ontario and different places in
Nice.
Canada. Tim Shaw is gonna be there.
Wow.
So yeah,
Nice.
we're gonna have a really good rounded group of investigators. It's gonna be interesting and exciting. And Lauren said that Laura's got a couple of different solo isolations for me that she's gonna have
Nice.
me do. I'll
There
be
you go.
going live during, so you guys will see that. But yeah, I'm excited about getting to hang out with Bump this weekend, especially because I've never been to Bel Air.
Yeah.
So I hear Bel Air is hit or miss, but with how I seem to draw activity. I'm interested to see how it'll
Yeah.
be.
Mhm.
Because I don't think I've really been to a location where I haven't had activity. It's kind of weird. It's cool. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but it's like
Yeah.
it's weird because like I'm like, okay, like I always end up with stuff. Like I don't know. Like I'm really looking forward to it though. I'm excited. I haven't seen them since MadCon.
Yeah.
We were all out there. So
Right.
I'm excited to see everybody.
Yeah.
This is gonna be amazing.
That's
There'll be a
awesome.
lot of
Yeah,
lives, a lot of TikToks,
Yeah,
Oh,
for
be a
sure.
lot
sure.
of surprises.
If you're with Bump, that's
Yeah.
you can almost guarantee.
Oh, it's gonna be a good time all the way around.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah,
That's
that
awesome.
sounds
That'll be
awesome.
fun. I'll be trying to look out for that.
Do you have
Oh, yeah.
anything else? Since Heisenberg isn't here, I'll take over. Do you have anything else that you'd like to plug?
I mean, you can find me on all the socials. If you look at BRIE HOLLINGSHEAD, I'm sure I'll pull up. I'll go ahead and give Nick a shout out with his Old World Paranormal
Nah,
Society.
you don't have to.
Hey, you know, gotta make sure I rep.
He
So,
did have
you know.
nothing but nice things to say about you when he was
Right.
on the show.
Yeah.
So I guess it's fair. We'll let it slide.
I mean, I am sitting in his trophy office right now.
Right.
So, you know.
Right.
He's so nice to share all his fun stuff with me.
Yeah.
So, yes, it will. It's going to be a great time. I'm looking forward to it. Plus, I just got my Old World hoodie. So, you know, I kind of
Nice.
feel like I owe it to give him a shout out now. So, I feel like I need to give them all Be Like BRIE hoodies now. So,
All right. Well, we're about that time. We have to say goodbye. I want to thank BRIE. I want to thank BRIE for being on the show, especially for such a last minute invite. We were just like right on it. I'm like, sweet, this is gonna be awesome. It's gonna be fun. Got to talk to you a little bit on Saturday. That was fun.
Yes.
We'll be watching you. You got a lot of amazing things happening coming up. So
thank you.
Yeah, keep in touch with us and let us know whatever we can do to help you.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Get your
Thank
stuff
you
up
so
there.
much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no problem. And I guess that's it. And obviously next Thursday, Thanksgiving, we're not going to be here. We're going to be with family. So Crypto Heads, you guys have a good Thanksgiving. Enjoy your family. Take some time off. Give thanks, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And we'll see you actually probably not till December because both of our kids have a concert on the same night. So
A band
we're off
concert.
the 30th. So we'll be back in December.
Yeah.
Yep. So we love you, Crypto Heads. Have a good weekend. D.
Don't be an asshole.
Don't be an asshole. Shut up and don't be an asshole. We love you guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.